Hello, my name is Jisa and I'm reading Shōbōgenzō. And we're into Zazenshin, a needle for Zazen. And we've been following the story of Nangaku and Daijaku. How can polishing a tile realize a mirror? How can sitting in Zazen make you into a Buddha? Daijaku says, just what is right here and now. These words look like a question only about this concrete place, but they are also asking about rightness here and now at any other place. Remember, for example, the moment when a close friend meets a close friend. His being a close friend is my being his close friend. His being my best close friend is my being his close friend. Yeah, that's right. Just what is right here and now is the direct manifestation of both sides at once. Nangaku says, if when a person is riding in a cart, the cart does not move, is it right to prod the cart? Or is it right to prod the ox? Now, as to the meaning of if the cart does not move, what is a cart moving and what is a cart not moving? For example, is water flowing, a cart moving? Is water not flowing, a cart moving? We might say that flowing is water not moving. It may also be that water moving is beyond flowing. Thus, when we investigate the words if the cart does not move, we may find that there is not moving, and we may find that there is no not moving, because the cart must be in time. The words, if it does not move, have not one-sidedly expressed only not moving. Nangaku says, is it right to prod the cart, or is it right to prod the ox? Can there be both prodding the cart and prodding the ox? Must prodding the cart and prodding the ox be equivalent, or might they be not equivalent? In the secular world, there is no method of prodding the cart. Though the common man has no method of prodding the cart, we have seen that in Buddhism there is a method of prodding the cart. It is the very eyes of learning in practice. And though we learn that there is a method of prodding the cart cannot be completely the same as prodding the ox. We should consider this in detail. Though methods of prodding the ox are present in the ordinary world, we should investigate further and learn in practice the prodding of the ox in Buddhism. Is it the prodding of a castrated water buffalo? Is it the prodding of an iron ox? Is it the prodding of a mud ox? Should a whip do the prodding? Should the whole universe do the prodding? Should the whole mind do the prodding? Should the marrow be beaten flat? Should a fist do the beating? There should be fist beating first, and there should be There should be fist beating fist, and there should be ox beating ox. Daijaku makes no reply, a state which we should not idly overlook. It is throwing away a tile and pulling in a jewel. It is turning the head and changing the features. Nothing at all can filch this state of no reply. Nangaku teaches further. Your learning sitting dhyana is learning sitting Buddha. Investigate these words. We should grasp them as just the pivotal essence of the ancestral patriarchs. We are not aware of the exact definition of learning Zazen, but now we have seen that it is learning sitting Buddha. How could anyone but the child and grandchild of rightful successors assert that learning Zazen is learning sitting Buddha? Truly, we should know that a beginner's Zazen is the first Zazen, and the first Zazen is the first sitting Buddha. Describing Zazen, he says, when we are learning sitting dhyana, that dhyana is beyond sitting and lying down. What he is saying now is that Zazen is Zazen, not sitting or lying down. After we have received the one-to-one transmission of the teaching that Zazen is beyond sitting and lying down, unlimited instances of sitting and lying down are our self. Why should we seek lifeblood in the familiar or unfamiliar? Why should we discuss delusion and realization? Who wishes to pursue an intellectual conclusion? Nangaku says, when you are learning sitting Buddha, Buddha is beyond any set form. When we want to say what these words say, the expression is like this. The reason sitting Buddha appears as one Buddha and a second Buddha is that it is adorned with the transcendence of any set form. Nangaku saying now that Buddha is beyond any set form expresses the form of Buddha, and because it is Buddha beyond any set form, it is utterly impossible for it to escape the form of sitting Buddha. In sum, because Buddha is adorned with transcendence of any set form, when it is learning sitting dhyana, it is just sitting Buddha. Who in the non-abiding Dharma could have preference or aversion for not being Buddha, or preference or aversion for being Buddha? Because it has dropped off preference and aversion even, before the moment of preference and aversion, sitting Buddha is sitting Buddha. Nangaku says, when you are practicing sitting Buddha, that is just killing Buddha. This says further that when we are investigating sitting Buddha, the virtue of killing Buddha is present. The very moment of sitting Buddha is the killing of Buddha. If we want to explore the good features and the brightness of killing Buddha, they are always present in sitting Buddha. The word to kill is as used by the common man, but we should not blindly equate its usage here with that of the common man. Further, we should investigate the state in which sitting Buddha is killing Buddha, asking, what forms and grades does it have? Taking up the fact that among the virtues of Buddha, killing Buddha is already present, we should learn in practice whether we ourselves are killing a person or not yet killing a person. To attach to the sitting form is not to have attained the principle of that sitting. This, to attach to the sitting form, means to reject the sitting form and to defile the sitting form. The fundamental principle here is that when we are already practicing sitting Buddha, it is impossible not to be attached to the sitting form. Because it is impossible not to be attached to the sitting form, although attachment to the sitting form is something brilliant, it may be not to have attained the principle of that sitting. Effort like this is called the dropping off of body and mind. Those who have never sat do not possess this state of truth. It exists in the moment of sitting. It exists in the person who is sitting. It exists in the Buddha which is sitting. And it exists in the Buddha which is learning sitting. The sitting which is performed only as the sitting and reclining of human beings is not this state of sitting Buddha. Even if human sitting naturally appears to be sitting Buddha, or a Buddha sitting, it may be a case of a human being becoming Buddha, or a case of a human being of becoming Buddha. Case of a human being becoming Buddha, or a case of a human being of becoming Buddha. I don't understand that. A becoming Buddha human being, the note says, that is a man or a woman of Zazen. Okay. There are human beings of becoming Buddha, but all human beings are not of becoming Buddha. Buddha is not a state of all human beings. All Buddhas are not simply all humanity. Therefore, a human being is not always a Buddha, and Buddha is not always a human being. Sitting Buddha also is like this, and Nangaku and Kozai, excellent master and stout disciple, are like this. Sitting Buddha realizes the experience of becoming Buddha. This is Kozai's case. For the benefit of becoming Buddha, sitting Buddha is demonstrated. This is Nangaku's case. In Nangaku's order, there is effort like this. In Yakusan's order, there are assertions quoted previously. Remember, what has been described as the pivotal essence of every Buddha and every patriarch is just sitting Buddha. Those who are already the Buddhas and the patriarchs used this pivotal essence. Those who have never used it have simply never seen it, even in a dream. In general, in the Western heavens and the Eastern lands, that the Buddha Dharma has been transmitted has always meant that sitting Buddha has been transmitted. That is because sitting Buddha is the pivotal essence. When the Buddha Dharma has not been transmitted, sitting dhyana, Zazen, has not been transmitted. What has been transmitted and received from rightful successor to rightful successor is only this principle of Zazen. Those who have not received the one-to-one transmission of this principle are not Buddhist patriarchs. Without illuminating this one Dharma, we do not illuminate the myriad Dharmas and do not illuminate the myriad deeds. Those who have not illuminated each Dharma, Dharma by Dharma, cannot be called clear-eyed, and they are not the attainment of the truth. How could they be Buddhist patriarchs of the eternal past and present? Therefore, we should be absolutely certain that the Buddhist patriarchs have, in every case, received the one-to-one transmission of Zazen. To be illuminated by the presence of the Buddhist patriarch's brightness is to exert oneself in the investigation of this sitting in Zazen. Stupid people mistakenly think that the Buddha's state of brightness might be like the brightness of the sun and the moon, or like the luminance of a pearl or a flame. The brilliance of the sun and moon is only karmic manifestation of the turning of the wheel through the 6 worlds. Sorry, I missed a line. Stupid people mistakenly think that the Buddha's state of brightness might be like the brightness of the sun and the moon, or like the luminance of a pearl or a flame. The brilliance of the sun and moon is only karmic manifestation of the turning of the wheel through the 6 worlds. It cannot compare to the Buddha's state of brightness at all. The Buddha's brightness means accepting, retaining and hearing a single phrase, maintaining, relying on and upholding a single Dharma, and receiving the one-to-one transmission of Zazen. If people are not able to be illuminated by the brightness, they lack this state of maintenance and reliance, and they lack this belief and acceptance. This being so, even since ancient times, few people have known that Zazen is Zazen. On the mountains of the great kingdom of Sung today, leaders of top-ranking temples who do not know Zazen and who do not learn of it are many. There are some who know Zazen clearly, but there are few. In many temples, of course, times for Zazen are laid down, and everyone from the abbot to the monks regularly regards sitting in Zazen as the main task. When recruiting students, too, they urge them to sit in Zazen. Even so, those abbots who know Zazen are rare. For this reason, while there have been from ancient times to recent generations 1 or 2 old veterans who have written Zazen Mai, mottos on Zazen, and 1 or 2 old veterans who have edited Zazengi, standard methods of Zazen, and 1 or 2 old veterans who have written Zazenshin, maxims of Zazen, the mottos of Zazen are all devoid of any redeeming feature, and the standard methods of Zazen remain unclear as to its actual performance. They are written by people who do not know Zazen and who have not received the one-to-one transmission of Zazen. I refer to the maxims of Zazen in Kaitoku Dento Roku, the mottos of Zazen in Kaitai Futo Roku, and so on. It is pitiful that such people spend a lifetime passing in succession through the monastery of the 10 directions, and yet they've not experienced the effort of one sitting. Sitting is not in them. The effort does not meet with themselves at all. This is not because Zazen hates their body and mind, and because they do not aspire to the genuine effort of Zazen, and they are quickly deluded. Sorry, I read that wrong. This is not because Zazen hates their own body and mind, but because they do not aspire to the genuine effort of Zazen, and they are quickly deluded. Their collections seem only to be about getting back to the source or returning to the origin, about vainly endeavouring to cease thought and become absorbed in serenity. That is not equal to the stages of reflection on, training in, assuming the fragrance of, and cultivation of dhyana. It is not equal to the views of the 10 states and the balanced state of truth. How could those people have received the one-to-one transmission of the Zazen of the Buddhas and the patriarchs? Chroniclers of the Sung dynasty were wrong to have recorded their writings, and students in later ages should discard them and should not read them. As a maxim for Zazen, the one written by Zen master Wanshi Shokaku of Tendu Kaitoku-ji Temple on Daibyakumyōzan Mountain in Kaigen-fu City in the great kingdom of Sung, and this alone is the patriarchs, is a true needle of the Zazen, is a fit expression of the truth. Only his is the brightness that illuminates both outside and inside of the Dharma world. He is a Buddhist patriarch among the Buddhist patriarchs of the eternal past and present. Former Buddhas and later Buddhas continue to be spurred by this needle. Through this needle, patriarchs of the present and patriarchs of old are realized. Great. Well, we'll have the Zazenshin in question and Dōgen's comments on it, and then his own Zazenshin tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Take care.